How do I spend my Sundays when my weekend perhaps hasn't been as productive as I wanted it to be? Meaning I didn't have the time to spend alone to do the things that perhaps I should have been doing, like reading or sending emails or having meetings or putting in the actual work to make the cool stuff. I make sure that when I wake up, uh, I adhere to the list that I wrote the night before. And I think a lot of us are not utilizing this tool, and I would recommend that everyone in their life get a little notebook. If it's a post-it, get some post-its. If it's some scratch paper, if it's the back of a note card, whatever it is, write it down. And the cool part is, shove it in your back pocket. And then over the course of the day, when you have a minute, when you're sitting around, you're not entirely sure what you need to do, look back at that thing and like, wait a second, I know what I need to do. So the reason I'm making this video is because I talk about emotional intelligence all the time. And when it comes down to it, to make ourselves feel good about being human beings and having the opportunities that we have, we need to take the most advantage of our time. And I think a lot of people are looking for ways to utilize their time appropriately so that they can become that person, that version of themselves that they ultimately respect the most. And so it really just requires us to break down our days into smaller and smaller chunks of time. There was Brian Stacy, who is an absolute legend when it comes to productivity and has inspired millions and millions of leaders all over the world. He says that the smaller chunks that you can break down your day into, you will be more successful because you value time more. And what I've come to realize as I begin to value time more is that a lot of people say that they value time, yet they spend a lot of their time idly, meaning that they will hang out with friends, they will watch a TV show, and in the process of doing that, there isn't a sense of urgency of actually getting over that thing. So a method that I invented in my own life that helps me is that as soon as I feel that core feeling inside of me that says, Tarab, you're probably not doing everything that you could be doing right now. As soon as that hits me and starts making me feel some sort of way, I immediately start counting down from 10. And the idea is that at 1 or at 0, I literally turn off that thing and I go and do the other thing that I said I was going to do on my list. And a lot of you might be thinking to yourselves, well, how is that useful? Like, what if I still don't have the discipline to do the 0 thing? Do the thing when you hit 0. And I'm here to tell you I'm not perfect. A lot of the times I'll hit 0 and I can't actually go and do that thing because I just don't have the motivation. But a lot of the time I do hit it. And I always say that in order to become the thing that you want to become in life, it's a progression. That there isn't going to be a flip of a switch and you're just going to automatically spend 1,000 days doing crazy stuff. You might spend 300 days doing crazy stuff, but there's going to be a time in life for sure where it's going to be harder, where things are going to come up that won't necessarily allow you to do all the things that you want to do. Now, if you don't want that to happen, continue listening. My name's Tarab. I make videos about emotional intelligence every day. Smash that thumbs up button if you're enjoying this. Subscribe if you can. Throw a comment. Let me know what you're struggling with. And so when I think about being an absolute legend in life, when I think about the people that are absolutely crushing in life, they don't allow themselves to make the excuses that, you know, I can fail at counting down from 10 to 0 and actually change at that moment, at that snap of the finger. And that amount of discipline really just comes with data. So we have to give ourselves the data to say, okay, Tarab, the last X amount of times that you ended up doing something that you didn't want to do, or that didn't align with the goals that you had set for yourself yesterday, you hop back into place, you snap back into place. Or when things really mattered, when you really had to get that deadline done, when you really had to go and call that person, or when you really had to show up and be there for someone, that you were there and you executed. And so it's a Sunday, you know, and I have to make videos and videos and videos because I told myself I want to leave a journal for anyone that is a leader, aspiring change maker in society, of the account of an individual that had spent so much of their time idly, perhaps pondering philosophies and building my communication skills and exploring what I really enjoy doing in life. However, I didn't have the discipline to actually execute on the vision that I wanted in the world. What I want in the world is to give people the tools to build their emotional intelligence, their productivity, so that society, humanity can be better, so that us as individuals live a more satisfying life. And that's kind of why I'm living this life, but also making this video, is because I really want to try to convince you that it really just comes down a lot to the things that you do, and the things that we do are either choreographed, they're either charted, or they're superfluous, and someone else charts them for us. And I want each of us to have the skill and the intention of actually setting meaningful goals and hitting them, like actually hitting them. And so there's a bunch of videos that I've made already about this type of stuff, so I want to make this one a little bit new. There's a concept that I've been thinking about recently about what Tai Lopez said. He said, in the pursuit of growth and success, you kind of want to bring all aspects of your life up at the same time. And all aspects of life, if paraphrased correctly, at least my understanding of all aspects of life, there's a spiritual aspect of life, right? There has to be something that we believe in deeper than ourselves and our visions. That for me is, helping others and having a service-oriented mentality. There has to be a financial aspect. If you are afraid of the power that you are going to accrue in life, chances are you're not going to want to accrue it. So to tackle fear and to go into understanding money and finance, that is a fundamental pillar that I think we need to bring up when we're becoming successful. There's our love life. There is the amount that we are cherished by the people around us, our relationships, our maybe physical touch, or just proximity to love in general. That needs to come up. And now, if I really stretch myself and think about the last one, so we have the spiritual, we have the love life, and we have our finances. I mean, what else is there? What else is there? Because at the end of the day, in these three pursuits, if we bring all three of these up at the same time, everything will be captured. For instance, if you're an artist, if you're creative, that's going to be captured in the purpose, the spirituality, and that's going to be captured in, obviously, trying to make money off of this stuff, because chances are, if you're making a bunch of stuff that only you like, it's great, but you need to understand that in order to get paid for it, people need to know you exist. That's also a part of marketing. It's also a part of building a brand and getting yourself out there. Strongly advocate for anyone watching this video, if you haven't posted on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or YouTube or whatever ever, or in the last 3 months, make a post. Just show people that you exist. And you might think to yourself, well, what's the point? It's a vanity metric. And it is. But I always say, if we don't understand something, dive into it. Listen to your intuition when it comes down to it. And make sure that you're always accruing more and more information. So one of the most satisfying things that I'm doing these days is reading. And the reason it's satisfying is A, it takes time that I could otherwise be wasting doing a lot of other bullshit in life. But B, that it gives me ideas. It gives me things to think about. I mean, how valuable is it to have something to plant a seed into our mind? How incredibly valuable is it to plant the seed of being better, of thinking about things more efficiently, of being more loving, more compassionate? I say, in order to love ourselves, we should view ourselves almost like a field or maybe a forest, that we're always trying to plant new things and see how they work together and get a wider breadth of understanding in our lives. It's really I think a lot of people find desperation and a lack of satisfaction with really just not having that expansive view of life, to look out into the world and to be able to contextualize our experience. That's why we get really stressed out sometimes when other people have opinions of us that we don't like, or when we don't get that position that we don't want. It's very, very important to be able to self-soothe in the pursuit of excellence in life. It's not easy, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So if you're watching this video and you got all the way to the end, smash that like button, throw me a subscribe, helps a lot. I'm trying to get to 1,000. The idea is, listen, every day is a lifetime. Spend your time the way that you would want the ideal you to spend your time. Moment by moment, minute by minute. Try to make no excuses for yourself, especially when you're in a state where you are in self-loathing, especially when you're in a state where you don't feel great about yourself. The only way out of that is action, my friend. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. I'll see you on the flip. Take care of yourself.